Alright, Mike here, a little update on the refrigerator. I haven't worked on it much in the last few weeks. The rain has started here in Oregon. See, it's wet outside here. And my shop needed a lot of attention. So yesterday I cleaned her up here a little bit and got rid of some stuff and moved some stuff around. And as you can see, I can walk in here now and I didn't have to take anything outside to do it. Quite lovely. So with the colder weather, I'm hoping to get a little bit of heat out here, at least just whenever I'm working, so that I can come in the door and close everything up and work a little bit. I do have a man door back here, so I'm hoping to clear this area out a little bit so that I can come in here and not have to let all the heat out anytime I want to come in and out. So the fridge. So ever since I put in this static condenser, I haven't been able to get really great subcooling, and the head pressure's pretty high. The head pressure's not even that big a deal. It's just that when you look at the saturation temperature on the high side, I realize that I'm running at far higher than I really should need to be. I mean, for instance, right now it's 55 or 60 degrees out here. It's a little cool. And we're running with a head pressure of 160 pounds per square inch, which corresponds to about 95 degrees. 95 degrees probably isn't that unreasonable in a kitchen that's 70 degrees. In fact, it'd be doing pretty well. But for this setup, I think it's a little excessive. So what I did was I added some subcooling through this coil on, which I've used many times for various things. It's just a very handy coil to have. And I've worked it around and stuff a couple of times. So I figured it's going to add a little bit of volume to the high side. I'm hoping to get a little more area for liquid to back up for some subcooling. Yeah, it worked marginally, but I mean, I'm still only getting 10 or 15 degrees of subcooling, which by itself isn't bad, but I'm not really getting much lower high side temperatures. So just kind of just fooling around here a little bit, I threw a fan on it, and as I expected, you can see this yellow line that dips, then back up and that dips, and in both those times were the fan running, and the fan's currently running. You can also see the head pressure drop and back up, drop. This run is a little different from most runs, just simply because I charged it right at the beginning, so we don't have a sudden downward spike in subcooling and things like that. This darker blue line here is after the heat interchanger, because I do have a capillary tube wrapped around the suction line, so that was a point there where I added a little more refrigerant and it dropped it right down basically to saturation. I can't really increase subcooling by adding any more refrigerant at this point, because as you can see down there, I'm frosting all the way back to the compressor shell, and once in a while I'll get a little jumping on the suction pressure there, probably indicating some pretty saturated vapor, damn near liquid coming back. So the heat interchanger is it's applying heat to the suction line, and this quality of the suction line of the refrigerant in there, it's probably some liquid coming back through. So I can't do that. I can't add any more refrigerant in order to get a little more subcooling and back up more in the high side to raise the head pressure. What I've noticed in the last couple of months of working with this system, because I have been dealing with 10 feet of O26 capillary tubing for some time. I haven't changed that in about 3 feet wrapped around the suction line here. It is nice and frosty in there. That capillary tube it's too short. I should go back to about 12 feet. And what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do is increase the length of the cap tube, probably decrease the length of the heat interchanger. As much as I would like to just go with 12 feet and then retain some kind of the same length of heat interchanger, so I'm not changing too much stuff. I neither have the time I just don't have the time to do it. So I'm just going to skip some steps here. Also, if I'm going to do this whole thing, I also want to mess around with adding an accumulator to the evaporator. I want to do that for a couple of reasons. One, it should help to manage the quality of the refrigerant returning back to the compressor helps protect the compressor a little bit, and it also, if I'm going to eliminate the heat interchanger or reduce it almost entirely, I'm going to need to have some extra space for refrigerant to accumulate, depending on the ambient conditions and what part of the run this thing is in. I have no intentions of using a fan long term. That was just kind of fooling around a little bit today. I may or may not wait. This is scrap here. This is a filter. It's got like a molecular sieve material of some sort in there. I want to wait to do all this work until I get my metal spinning set up. I just got this this wood lathe a couple of weeks ago, and I finally got it out of the box yesterday and got it off the floor and got it set up. So I want to do some turning there, because eventually I want to be able to do some of my own metal spinning and make stuff like this, and I want to make an accumulator that looks pretty similar to that. So it's going to take a little while to get all that kind of stuff set up. I need to make my own metal spinning tools. I need to make a tool rest. I do have some wood turning tools and stuff here, but that's only going to get me so far. So I'm gonna have to make some tools, make the tool rest, things like that, and then I can continue on. If I get some decent weather this week, I might just go ahead and make another one of my crazy little pinched tanks. It's like this one here. I'm just kind of pinching on both ends. It worked just fine. It's just not very aesthetically pleasing, and I want to do some metal spinning. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Everything's working out relatively well. It's ugly as hell, but I'm not ready to do a complete overhaul on it yet. It's just that, with this weather and cold temperatures, it makes it difficult to get out here and work. Also, with the wide variety of ambient temperatures that I get with this shop, in the summertime it would get ridiculously hot during the day, and it wouldn't cool off for several hours into the evening. And now here in the wintertime, it's much colder than ambient environment most of the time, and it rarely ever gets up to into the 70s in here. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to make a couple of videos here. I want to talk about some refrigerant controls, and I'm hoping to get into a pressure enthalpy diagram. So thanks for watching.